Build habits that actually stick. The Absolute Ascension app. Link in comments.
I'm asking all of you to get better, in spite of the winters, in spite of the downturn. The money downturn, the social downturn, the personal downturn, whatever it is. Just get stronger. Get better. We've all got those personal winters. We know what those are like. Barbra Streisand sings, it used to be so natural to talk about forever, but used to be's don't count anymore. They just lay on the floor till we sweep them away. You don't sing me love songs, you don't say you need me, and you don't bring me flowers anymore. A winter song. But hey, we're acquainted with all those personal winters, all the rest of it. The key is not to wish for a better winter. The key is to wish for more strength, more wisdom, more courage, get better, get wiser, get stronger.
You're creating your fantasy in your mind, how this life is supposed to be. Then you're being faced with the reality of how life on Earth right now really is. And then you're wondering why you're having such a difficult time. It's because you focus all the time on 50% of the truth. You had a preference for the gentle, nice, and pleasant things. We need both. We are going to face both.
I want to leave you with this. The moment that you stop needing approval, your life will change. The moment you stop feeling like you have to please people, that you have to put somebody else before you, the moment that you stop doing that, life's going to change. It's going to change for the positive, and it's going to change seemingly for the negative. Because there's a lot of relationships that you built that were predicated and the foundations were poured on you pleasing everybody else before you put yourself first. But here's the deal. When you start giving yourself what you need, and you don't need approval, and you don't need validation, and you don't need acceptance from other people, this is when you can step into your power. Think about it. You won't post stuff on social media because you're worried about what somebody else will think. You won't shoot that shot because you're afraid what will coach say. You won't take certain actions because you take somebody else's perspective, approval, validation, acceptance into account before your own. So this is what it means to take back your power. You got to take it back. And when you take it back, I promise you, life will match it.
The first thing you have to accept is that it is inevitable that you are going to have setbacks, failures, and challenges. That is part of the journey of going into the unknown. But when you fast forward to today, what you realize is that those challenges, while painful at the time, shaped you into who you are today. And actually, the greatest lessons, insights, and wisdom come from those events. Those events that we tend to fear, the setbacks, the failures, the obstacles, those very things equip us with the wisdom to come back stronger.
But I'm asking you not to pick up all those doubts. I'm asking you to have some faith, have some courage, believe, drive your doubts into a small corner. Don't let them loose like a mad dog, drive you into a small corner. Don't doubt the future. Don't doubt the possibilities. Here's the most important one of all. Don't doubt yourself. If I've got miracle working power to change my life, so do you. If I've got the ability to change, so do you. If I've got the ability to read, so do you. If I can discover, so can you. If I can grow, you can grow.
Quitting is a habit. If you quit the first time you run into difficulties, you'll always quit when the going gets rough. You will, in effect, establish a pattern for failure rather than a pattern for success.
What I try to do is just try to be still and understand that things come and go, emotions come and go. The important thing is to accept them all, to embrace them all, and then you can choose to do with them what you want versus being controlled by emotion. Versus stepping back and saying, yeah, I am nervous about the situation. Yeah, I am fearful about the situation. Well, what am I afraid of? And then you kind of unpack it. And then it gives you the ability to look at it for really what it is, which is nothing more than your imagination running its course, you know?
What are you saving yourself for? I get it. This workout is hard. This training is hard. This practice is hard. This workday is hard. And you're getting to that point where You're feeling extremely challenged. And so you decide to hold back, to reserve some of that energy, to reserve some of that effort. I'm gonna save it. But what are you saving it for? What are you saving yourself for? You're gonna go to sleep that night. You're gonna get to restore that energy. So why would you not empty out everything you can possibly give in the day? Why wouldn't you push yourself to your absolute limits? Those willing to risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. So when you get tired, when you get to that point where you feel like stopping because it's challenging, what are you saving yourself for?
I'm not motivated. I'm obsessed with every part of the process. I've romanticized every aspect of it, the process of understanding who I am, what I'm here to do and how to do it. And I put it in simple terms on purpose because I've found that the more words you use to describe something so deeply complex, the more you water it down. I know at least part of you understands, not because we live a similar life, not because we share the same beliefs, but because we both possess a soul that comes from the same origin. The soul is what allows us to feel at the deepest level. It translates what is beyond our capability to logically process and allows us to feel it in its purest form. I am obsessed because I feel life. I am immersed in it because I believe evil disguises itself in your own thoughts. It will whisper that your vision is too unorthodox, too far-fetched to be real, and it will make you believe that doubt is your own. But what is pure to the soul, what resonates at the deepest level, needs no rationalization, no analysis, no justification. It only needs to be accepted, felt, and embraced. When you do this, when you surrender what is true within you, you will be guided, not by temptation, not by deception, not by the manipulation of evil, but by the undeniable pull of your soul.
Do you not understand that the more comfortable you get, the more uncomfortable life gets? The less action you take, the more consequences you have. The more you let those bills pile up, the less work you put in, the more food you eat, the fatter you get. All these things are gonna start piling up on you, bro. And bro, I know you weren't built to be average. You were built to have riches. You were built to have the body you want, the physique that you want, the dreams that you want. You were built to have these things, and yet you're content with being average. At the end of the day, the keys are in your hands, bro. It's on you to go make the shit count.
I can't say this enough. Stop waiting. You could get hit by a bus next week. Do not waste your life waiting, worrying, or wishing for things to change. You gotta want it enough to do the work. Your dreams have a brick path that will get paved every single day, one brick at a time. Stop killing your potential by thinking and doubting. You guys have dreams, you got a world to change, you got money to make. Get your butts out there and go do it.
The answer of when should I is almost always right now. Nobody has been happy that they've sat on something that's been eating away at them in the history of life. The answer's now.
There's no competition in being successful because everyone else is preoccupied with being a professional and making excuses. Eating healthy is not expensive, but people lie to themselves to the bitter end about that, all just to avoid a bit of effort. Everyone's got 30 minutes to an hour a day to set aside and work out, but God forbid we put some time into being a little bit uncomfortable. We know exactly what to do to be better. And we know exactly what successful people did to get to where they are. And if you happen to be a part of the 1% that actually follow suit, congrats on the free pass to the top.
Bro, start over. Just start over. It's a brand new day. It doesn't matter who you were yesterday or last week or last month or last year. It doesn't matter if people know you to be a certain person or to have certain personality traits. Who do you want to be today? What personality traits do you want to have today? What do you want to value today? What a lot of people don't realize is that at any point, you can just change who you are. You can go from being selfish to being selfless. You can go from being undisciplined to being disciplined. You can go from being a complete asshole to being kind. All of that is a choice. All of that is within your power. 0 people on earth are stopping you from doing that. It is your own discomfort. It is your own unwillingness to change. You are the only person stopping you from embodying the traits you want to embody and being the person that you ultimately want to be. There's a lot of you have no control over. This is one of the things you do. If you are not behaving like the person you want to be, and you are not doing the things that the person you want to be would do, that is on you. So if you don't like what's going on, start over.
See, the thing about life, we're gonna die, right? Eventually we're gonna die, but our legacy will live on. The impact can be non-perishable, forever, but it's gotta be built right. Or we gotta take advantage of the time we have right now. If you want it bad enough, you find a way. If you don't want it bad enough, you find an excuse. Just like life itself, man. You go after things, you triumph. Even if you fail, you get back up, and you continue to try and fail, and ensuring you never fail to try. Because nothing's impossible. It's just a spelling of impossible. It's spelled impossible.
People want their life to be free of struggle and conflict. They want a smooth path in front of them. When you face adversity or things aren't going quite well, you have to reassess who you are. You have to reassess your opinions. You have to say, maybe I'm not doing this the right way. Maybe my patterns of responding in the past aren't working out. Maybe there's something wrong with me. How can I learn from this moment? How can I get past this particular obstacle? If you never have failure, if you never have conflict, you are never going to develop yourself in life. So conflict is something you must welcome as a test and a challenge and a way to strengthen yourself up, because life is harsh, life is difficult. And if you're not tough in this world, you're gonna have a life of pain.
Comfort zone is killing you, and it is painful to watch. And it's not even a big dramatic battle that you're losing, but a slow, silent, unnoticed death of your potential. And in some ways, that's even more sad. It's like watching someone blow out a candle for the final time. No explosion, just darkness. Every time you hit snooze, every time you break a promise to yourself, every time you choose comfort over discipline, another piece of you fades. Until one day, there is nothing left. No fire, no drive, just the sour aftertaste of regret and bitterness. But here's the thing, you're not dead yet. The flame is not out. You've still got fight left in you. And guess what? There is nothing better than a comeback story. Start now, small steps every day. I promise you, as soon as you gain some momentum, it will get easier. Hell, it will become fun. Just promise me you will not let the flame go out.
This is the idea that most people walk down this path that isn't really theirs. They're handed this default path, this default definition of success, these default settings of meaning, and accept them as their own and march blindly down that path. And they wake up in 50 years and maybe wonder what the hell they just did with their one life that they got a shot at. You are the hero in your hero's journey. That is not a grandiose statement, that is true. You get one shot at all of this, so engage in something that matters to you.
I like it when the water is warm in the shower, but I built the muscle that allows me to turn it this way to make it cold, to build that muscle of doing the hard thing. I never want to go for the run. I like how I feel after. And I have to force myself to do it. I have to push myself to do it. And I built the muscle that not just pushes myself to do it, but also pushes myself while I'm doing it to go further or to go faster. And it's that same muscle that I draw on when I find my attention wandering. You build this muscle, this discipline inside you that you can draw on. The Stoics would call this the command of oneself. Seneca says, no one is fit to rule who is not first master of themselves. The greatest empire is command of ourselves.
Confidence is not something you could fake. Arrogance is faked. It's people pretending to be somebody they're not or better than they are because they know they haven't done the reps. See, confident people don't have to walk around telling you they're ready because they look ready. You can just tell they're ready because they've actually gone through the reps and they truly are. Life is the same way as the battlefield. Challenges are coming. And if I do the reps, if I do the hard work before I get to those challenges, I'm going to be confident. And I'm going to be ready for those challenges. Now, I'm not going to go out and actually look for hard things to do. I'm going to try to do what I want to do and meet my goals, but it doesn't have to be harder just to make it feel like I've done more. But if they come, I want to be ready. And I get ready and I gain that confidence by doing the hard work when nobody else is willing to. By doing the hard work after hours. By getting up every single day knowing that if I go through the motions and the reps and the rehearsals, I can be ready and confident when challenges happen. When you do them now and you gain that confidence, that success is going to continue to grow. Go out every single day and know when you're ready for the fight or you're ready for the challenge because you've done the reps and you have the confidence, and let life bring it because you know you're gonna win.
We're not able to think. The most powerful weapon in the world, we walk around with it. It's our mind, it's our brain. You have to be able to go into a very dark place in your mind and figure who you are. Go back to what you want to do. What's your purpose? We can't figure our purpose out or why we're here or why we're even born or whatever because it's so loud in our mind. We don't have any quiet time with ourselves to sit back and say, what do I really want? There's so many different dialogues in our head that we can't think. So my biggest thing is you have to be alone in a very dark place in your mind to think about what is important to you.
It says in that manual, it says, other than death, all failure is psychological. Other than death, all failure is psychological. Think about that. Just think about that. This failure, this upset, this catastrophe. If you aren't dead, then it's just psychological. It's in your head. Now, this does not mean that you won't lose some battles, because you will. We all will.
The biggest trophy that I ever got in my entire life was really figuring out me. It's not about money, it's not about fame, it's not about being accepted by your peers and everybody else. It's about figuring out who I am and being happy with who the I am. Even though I'm going to be judged for all these things.
Nobody understands you because how could they? If you spend your whole life trying to be like nobody else, work harder than the average person, care more than anybody else would, what makes you think they'll understand? What you're looking for is rare, and same goes for me. And it might sound like bad news that this understanding you're looking for isn't easy to come by, but that's exactly why you want it. You know you could have the run-of-the-mill life that's easy to get, but it's not fulfilling. So recognize that more value requires more responsibility, and that responsibility is genuinely something to cherish.
If you don't change what you're doing and how you do it, nothing else will change.
If you could talk to the 20-year-old Mike, what would you say to him?
It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt bad. It's gonna really hurt. It's gonna hurt him really bad.
I'm Mike Tyson. I'm labeled a dangerous guy bad. I really figured out that I said, why am I going to this test? And they didn't understand why we're going to do it. One of the doctors said, they're afraid that you're going to hurt somebody, either in the ring and out the ring. And I was dumbfounded. I said, what about somebody hurting me?
Sometimes my whole life I thought I was in the guard of the savages. Look where I came from. I hated, felt sorry for myself. Had chips on my shoulders because I was always poor. I was uneducated. I'm a monster. Watch me ring and all that stuff. And I just found out I'm a little scary boy. And I'm no tough guy.
Will anyone care about me being hurt? No one ever cares about my, they look at me like I'm some juggernaut. I'm stone cold, no emotion. But maybe I project myself to be that way because that's my defense mechanism. But in all actuality, I'm very fragile. And that's why I strike out so much, because I'm fragile and easily hurt.
I lose fear. I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn. I'm what fear looks like. Look at me. If you think anybody's afraid of me, I'm probably 1,000 times more afraid of them than they are of me. That's why I'm more aggressive than they are. My whole life is fear-based.
How did you endure that, survive that?
I'm made for that. That's what I'm made for. Absolutely, that's who I am. I want to be up more than anybody wants me to be down.
But just because I'm that type of person, I'm that extreme of a person, they fingered me to be a monster. I am who I am. I'm gonna die being who I am, and I'm gonna live being who I am. This is just who I am. And if you can't handle me being I am, you have a problem within yourself.
The more I hurt them, the more spectacularly I hurt them, the better my life would be. And that's how my mindset was. The most successful people that ever lived in history are megalomaniacs, but they got a low self-esteem. They don't think much about themselves, but they think they're God on the other hand too. Anytime you want to be the best in the world at anything, it's going to be disappointment. It's almost like you almost have to give your happiness up to accomplish your goal.
I was thinking of a line of George Orwell where he says autobiography is only to be trusted when it reveals something disgraceful. A man who gives a good account of himself is probably lying, since any life, when viewed from the inside, is simply a series of defeats.
How do I express this? I was never able to understand the concept of greatness. I just never was able to understand that concept of greatness. As time went on and I've gotten older, I've met many journeys on people that I met on my journey. The majority of greatness in itself doesn't come with goodness. The two don't coexist with one another. I spent all my life trying to become great because I had such a low self-esteem. And I realized late in life that all great men are not good men. And then so I tried to embark on a whole different career and try to become good. So how do we live in those two dimensions at once? You want that greatness for self-gratification, but you want goodness from a human perspective. And I really had no idea, no clue how do I juggle both of them and be in harmony. And then in all actuality, they don't exist. You have to pick a side. I always cry before I fight.
You did? Always cry before?
Yeah.
What were you crying about?
I don't know. That's just who I am.
Yeah, but go further. What's the emotion?
I'm getting ready to change into somebody I don't like.
You're getting ready to change you. Change into the fighter.
Yeah.
And you don't like that fighter?
Not really.
Wow. You are the greatest fighter that ever lived, and you didn't like that guy.
No, because he came more with fighting. He brought more than just fighting with him.
What do you mean?
He brought like jealousy, enviness, guilt. He brought a lot of stuff. Yeah, that's who I was. Everything that was bad was that guy. See all your fights and stuff? All your knockouts is spectacular. Know what that means? All this good stuff happening to you. Know what that means? That you're favored by God. You know that, right? But you may not know too. When you're favored by God, you're also favored by the devil. He's coming for you too. So you just gotta be strong and stay on the right side. Whose side you gonna go on? He's gonna give you power too. He's gonna get in your head too, but it's whose side you gonna stay with. You stay with who brought you here. You go home with the guy that brought you to the dance. Fear is our friend. Fear is like fire. You know what I mean? If
If you're afraid of it and you let it get out of control, it can destroy you and everything around you. But if you control it, it can cook food for you, it can heat you, keep you warm. It could be your friend, it can fight for you. You know what from my experience I found out? The God, it tests you. It tests you and see how much of this you can take before you say, let's be finished with this. You know what I mean? He wants to show you something. He wants to see how much you can take, how much you can handle of life. You say you love life, you want to live life, I'm going to show you life. Life is beautiful, but you have to accept the good and the bad as being beautiful. You can't accept the good, oh, this is beautiful, then we lose somehow, our life sucks. Life is beautiful because life gives us the ability to just know them on our journey in life. Listen, the ups and downs are not over, believe it or not, in life. And my whole success is from belief, something I can feel but not actually see.
Who is the real me? The sad guy, the happy guy, the confident guy, the guy with remorse? There's lots of different Mike Tyson.
We're all creatures of contradiction because we truly don't know who we are. We're constantly searching who we are. But I don't know, it's just that makes me who I am. If I wasn't that way, you wouldn't be interviewing me. That makes me Mike. You know what I mean? I'm not a straight guy. Doing what I do and normal don't go along with one another. You like that reflection you see in the mirror. I guess everything could be cool with that.
Does it make sense for you to have a happy ending?
I don't know about that. We're dealing with life on life terms. It's out of my control, truly. When that feeling comes, you have no control over it. I might want to die tomorrow, and that's just what it is. And that's how my mind works. I don't know what I want to do. I just know right now I want to live and experience life, and I don't know what life has in store for me, but I'm not afraid to find out.
When you make a choice, say, come hell or high water, I'm going to be this, then you should not be surprised when you are that. And I gave my soul to this game. There's nothing more I can give. Nothing. But I'm telling you, it goes by fast. And if you don't give it your all, you're going to regret it. I love what I do. And it's as simple as that.
What does love feel like for you?
What does love feel like? So I think I'd describe it as a beautiful journey. It has its ups and downs. Things are never perfect. But through love, you continue to persevere. And you move through them. You move through them. Through that storm, a beautiful sun emerges. Right? And inevitably another storm comes. And guess what? You ride that one out too. So I think love is a certain determination and persistence to go through the good times and the bad times with the someone or something that you truly love. I had a summer where I played basketball when I was like 10 or 11 years old, and I scored not a free throw, not a nothing, not a lucky shot, not a breakaway layup, 0 points. And I remember crying about it, being upset about it, and my father just gave me a hug and said, listen, whether you score 0 or score 60, I'm gonna love you no matter what. Now that is the most important thing that you can say to a child. Because from there, I was like, okay, that gives me all the confidence in the world to fail. I have the security there. But to hell with that, I'm scoring 60. There's a choice that we have to make as people, as individuals. If you want to be great at something, there's a choice that you have to make. We all can be masters at our craft, but you have to make a choice. And what I mean by that is the inherent sacrifices that come along with that. I had a purpose. I wanted to be one of the best basketball players to ever play, and anything else that was outside of that lane, I didn't have time for. So everything I saw, whether it was TV shows, whether it was books I read, people I talked to, everything was done to try to learn how to become a better basketball player, everything. So when you have that point of view, then literally the world becomes your library. The Mamba mentality simply means trying to be the best version of yourself. That's what the mentality means. It means every day, you're trying to become better. And it's a constant quest. It's an infinite quest. I want to be one of the best basketball players who've ever played. Okay, how do I get there? And every decision I made in my life was centered around the process of helping me eventually get there. Like you're always going after it. Always going after it, always going after it. And if there's a challenge that ensues, oh, good, I want to see how I stack up to that. So I had that purpose. And once I had that purpose, every decision that I made was centered around that purpose. I think the best way to prove your value is to work, is to learn, is to absorb, to be a sponge. You always want to outwork your potential. As hard as you believe you can work harder than that. So you go after it. What I've learned is to always keep going, always. There's been times, particularly early in my career, where it just feels like this is the end. But what I've come to find out is that, no matter what happens, the storm eventually ends. And when the storm does end, you want to make sure that you're ready. And I gave my soul to this game, man. There's nothing more I can give. Nothing.
You guys know that, if you do the work, you work hard enough, dreams come true. You know that, we all know that. But hopefully what you get is the understanding that those times when you get up early and you work hard, those times when you stay up late and you work hard, those times when you don't feel like working, you're too tired, you don't want to push yourself, but you do it anyway. That is actually the dream. That's the dream. It's not the destination, it's the journey.
Every kid, every person has the ability to put one foot in front of the other, right? So like if you're saying, okay, I'm gonna climb Mount Everest, and you're at the bottom of the mountain and you look up and you're going, I'm not gonna climb Mount Everest, right? But if you break it down into sections and you're just one foot in front of the other, one step at a time, next thing you know, you're at the top of the mountain. It's like as a kid, I said, I wanna be the best ever. Right? And now you go through your life and everything you do is try to be the best ever, be the best ever, be the best ever. And as you get older, you start understanding that those things are very superficial things. Right? And everybody has a different opinion about it. No matter what you do, I can win 20 championships. There's always an opinion on who's the best. Everybody has different opinions. And so I started really kind of understanding maybe that's not the important thing. Maybe the important thing is to, how do we as a team grow? How do I help my teammates be better? So that was the first change for me. And then as I got older still, it became more about how are you inspiring others, right, to find themselves. That is the ultimate championship. How do you use your passion and use that to inspire somebody else to create their passion? And then how can they pass that on to the next person? That is true success. The lesson I cherish the most is how important it is to love what you do. Always seek out things you love and always work hard once you find it. You can't stop people from trying to limit your dreams, but you can stop it from becoming a reality. My mind can handle the grind, but my body knows it's time to say goodbye. And that's okay. You asked for my hustle. I gave you my heart. This is what we talk about all the time. You have a bump in the road, you fall, you get back up, and you go after it again, right? That's what we do.
Just remember, you can't climb that ladder of success with your hands in your pockets. I always tell people that you can call me anything that you want. You can call me Arnold, you can call me Schwarzenegger, you can call me the Austrian Oak, you can call me Schwarzi, you can call me Arnie, but don't ever call me a self-made man. I didn't make it that far on my own. I mean, to accept that credit or that medal would discount every single person that has helped me to get here today. Listen, when I came to the United States, I remember that I trained 5 hours a day, every day, and I was managing a construction business, I was a bricklayer, and I went to college also, and I took acting classes from 8 o'clock at night to 12 o'clock midnight. All of that in one day, every day I did that. I did not worry about it. I knew that I had 24 hours and I didn't want to wait one single hour. The bottom line is, if I would have listened to the naysayers, my career would have ended when I was 15 years old. I would be still yodeling in Austria, in the Alps. And the reason why I'm here today and talking to you is because I did not listen to you can't or it's impossible or no. So I just recommend you very strongly, ignore the naysayers. So shoot to the top, shoot for the sky. Work like hell. Trust yourself. Break some rules. Don't be afraid to fail. That's what life is all about, is overcoming us. It is impossible to be a maverick or a true original if you're too well behaved and not want to break the rules. You have to think outside the box. That's what I believe. After all, what is the point of being on this earth if all you want to do is be liked by everyone and avoid trouble? That out of the 24 hours of the day, that I don't waste one single hour. Anything I've ever attempted, I was always willing to fail. I was poor because I didn't have anything, but I was rich because I had a dream. Anything and everything can be done if you can visualize it, if you believe in yourself. No matter how successful you are, life will throw obstacles in your path. But if you have a very clear vision of exactly what you want to do and who do you want to be, you can go and find a way around all of these obstacles. If you think that you're gonna go and accomplish something really special and be the best in anything in the world, and you think you can do it without working, you make a big mistake. Where I got hurt, where I was in pain, in agony, and I had to do it over and over again, I did not care if I was bleeding on my knees because I know that pain is temporary. Always discover your vision and the rest will follow. When you must aching and just then go on and go on and go on. And that divides one from a champion and one from not being a champion. If you can go through this pain barrier, you make it to be a champion. If you can't go through, forget it. And that's what most people lack, is always having the guts to go in and just say, I go through and I don't care what happens. If you only remember one thing today, it is, you must have a very clear vision. You must develop that very clear vision. Ask yourself, who do you want to be? Not what, but who. You see, a disaster can change what you are. It can steal jobs and force you inside. But it is who you are that rises in the face of adversity. What stands in the way becomes the way. So whenever someone said to me, it can't be done, I heard, it can be done. When they said no, I heard yes. And when they said it's impossible, I heard it is possible. I looked forward to another 1,000 reps of sit-ups. I looked forward to another 500 pounds of leg press or squat. I looked forward to more and more curls till my arms fall. Why? Because I knew that every rep that I did and every set that I did and more weights that I lifted, I get one step closer to turning that vision into reality. That's impossible. That can't be done. Or no. Don't listen. Just visualize your goal, know exactly where you want to go. Trust in yourself. Get out there and work like hell. And break some of the rules and never, ever be afraid of failing. This is the blueprint for my life. This is exactly what I want to do. Because when you have a goal, when you have a vision, everything becomes easy. The majority of people don't like what they're doing. because they're really not doing it because they didn't have a goal and they followed this goal, it's not fun. So if you think about only a quarter of the people really enjoy what they're doing in life, you got to have a purpose no matter what you do in life. You got to have purpose. Of course, there's a chance that you can fail. When you lift the weight, I tried 10 times to lift bench press 500 pounds, and I failed. But the 11th time I did it. So never give up and never be afraid of failure, because otherwise you box yourself in and you limit yourself. I was never afraid to fail when I ran for governor. I was never afraid to fail to attack anything, because you should not be afraid of failure. That's just part of life. I mean, people should just realize that a lot of things in life that are difficult. And you have to ask yourself the question right off the top, you know, are you gonna be one of those guys that are gonna go and back off every time something's difficult? Or do you want to be one of those guys that says, hey, it doesn't matter if it's easy or difficult or most difficult, I'm gonna go and crush through. That's me. That's the person that I want to be, and I'm gonna prove it to myself and I'm gonna prove it to the rest of the world. That you don't ask yourself, should I or should you just do it? That we can do it alone. None of us can. The whole concept of the self-made man or woman is a myth. So as soon as you understand that you are here because of a lot of help, then you also understand that now is time to help others. Tear down this mirror. Tear down this mirror that makes you always look at yourself. And you will be able to look beyond this mirror and see the millions of people that need your help. Have a clear vision where you want to go. What is it that you're really passionate about? And then go after that. No matter what it takes, go after that. As crazy as it may sound, because you got to do something that you really enjoy doing. A life will be always about obstacles in front of you. And it is the way to overcome these obstacles. There's nothing unusual. That's the way it is. So when you know your vision, every setback, every stepping stone, every struggle, all resistance builds your inner strength, builds your character, makes you strong as a person. When you have one little victory, little victories add up, and that is what gives you then ultimately confidence. Embrace the climb that's your vision, and not just the selfie to take you to the top, because the climb is what makes you grow and build who you want to be. It's the climb. It's time to start developing your vision, and it's time to start climbing towards that vision.
Certainly being focused on something that you're confident will have high value to someone else, and just being really rigorous in making that assessment. People take too many things as, they assume too many things to be true without sufficient basis in that belief. It's very important that people closely analyze what is supposed to be true. Try to say, let's analyze things from first principles, not by analogy or not by convention. I was at sort of a slight existential crisis, because I was trying to figure out what does it all mean? Like, what's the purpose of things? And I came to the conclusion that if we can advance the knowledge of the world, if we can do things that expand the scope and scale of consciousness, then we're better able to ask the right questions and become more enlightened, and that's really the only way forward. And this was against the advice of pretty much everyone I talked to. But one friend made me sit down and watch a bunch of videos of rockets blowing up. Let me tell you, he wasn't far wrong. Tough going there in the beginning, because I'd never built anything physical. I mean, I'd built like little model rockets as a kid and that kind of thing, but I never had a company that built something physical, so I'd kind of figure out how to do all these things and bring together the right team of people, and so we did all that and then failed 3 times.
I think also people tend to overweight risk on a personal level. Let's say you're young and you're just coming out of college or coming out of high school, whatever. What do you risk? You know, you're not going to starve. People should be less risk averse when there's not much at risk.
I wouldn't say I'm fearless. In fact, I think I feel fear quite strongly. If what we're doing isn't, what I'm doing is, I think, is important enough, then I just override the fear.
Trying to build a company and have it succeed is like eating glass and staring into the abyss. Sort of quite exciting for the first several months starting a company, and then reality sets in. Things don't go as well as planned. Customers aren't signing up. The technology or the product isn't working as well as you thought, and then that can sometimes be compounded by a recession, and it can be very, very painful for several years. So I think, frankly, starting a company advises people to have a high pain tolerance.
With this, like, there are many more ways to fail than to succeed. Failure is not a big stigma. So it's like if you try hard and it doesn't work out, that's okay. Learn from that and do another company, and it's not a big deal.
I think the thing that drives me is that I want to be able to think about the future and feel good about that.
To be inspired by what is likely to happen, and to look forward to the next day. The difference between really believing in your ideals and sticking to them versus pursuing some unrealistic dream that doesn't actually have merit. And that is a really difficult thing to tell you. Can you tell the difference between those two things? Very rigorous in your self-analysis.
If you assume things are true by convention, which is actually what most people do, then it's difficult to gain insight into how things can be bettered. You want to make sure that the underlying premises are valid and applicable, and then in reaching a conclusion, that the conclusion you're reaching is necessarily driven by the underlying premises and the interconnection between those premises.
When I was young, I didn't really know what I was going to do when I got older. I read a quote from Arthur C. Clarke, which said that a sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, and that's really true. If you go back, say 300 years, the things that we take for granted today you'd be burned at the stake for. I think it actually goes beyond that, because there are many things that we take for granted today that weren't even imagined in times past. They weren't even in the realm of magic.
You had that third failure in a row. Did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up.
This is the first time in the 4.5 billion year history of Earth that it's been possible to extend life beyond Earth. Before this, it was not possible. How long will this window be open? It may be open for a long time, or it may be open for a short time. I think it would be wise to assume that it is open for a short time. Every waking hour, that's the thing I would say. Okay, if somebody else is working 50 hours and you're working 100, you'll get twice as much done in the course of a year. Now is the time to take risk. So I would encourage you to take risks now, to do something bold. You won't regret it.
Work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in, 80 to 100 hour weeks every week.
And like one of the most difficult choices I ever faced in life was in 2008. Maybe $30 million left, or $30 or $40 million left in 2008. I had two choices. I could put it all into one company, and then the other company would definitely die, or split it between the two companies. But if I split it between the two companies, then both might die. And when you put your blood, sweat, and tears into creating something, building something, it's like a child. am I going to let one starve to death? I can bring myself to do it, so I split the money between the two. Fortunately, thank goodness, they both lived.
When something is important enough, you do it even if it's not in your favor.
We're doing these things that seem unlikely to succeed, and we've been fortunate, and at least thus far they have succeeded. You guys are the magicians of the 21st century.
There's so much knowledge out there, so much information, so many ways to get better. And we make so many mistakes. We're the product of our mistakes. And oftentimes the lesson is sitting there right in front of our face. It's there to be learned, but we miss it, or we don't pay attention to it, or we think we know better until it punches us in the face. And the most important thing to learn is that we have so much to learn as far as regrets and things I wish I would have done differently, of course. Hindsight is 20/20, and looking back, of course, who wouldn't want to take another go at something? The fact is, you don't get that chance. You get one shot at this gig right here. Life. One life, that's all you've got. And regret, in and of itself, it's worthless. It does nothing for you. In fact, the only valuable thing in regret is the lesson you learned, the knowledge that you gained. But walking around filled with regret, it gets you nothing.
It's all about mindset. Yeah. That's it, man. You have to change the dialogue within your head. And one thing I guarantee you, there's some stat out there about January 1. All that kindling that you started, all that motivation, usually burn out by about 10 to 12 days later. So let's see how far you can take that shit. Usually it's 10 to 12 days, man. People always come to me, man, hey, I want a workout program. I no longer give them anymore because you're gonna waste my fucking time. Because I know most people out there, once that one alarm clock goes off, the wrong time of the day, I'm not going to the gym.
All this new year, new me bullcrap can stop right now because it is the same exact you with the same exact tendencies and the same exact defaults in your mind when times get tough. A society-wide marketing campaign is not going to change you for the better because if it was, it would have worked last year. The best day to start looking to make serious changes is the day you least want to do it, because that's exactly what it's going to feel like when all your motivation wears off. So either look to genuinely change the way you think through endless effort, or don't even bother with the idea of a new you.
It's January 1st. Nothing has changed. This year's not going to be your year. You're not magically any different because the calendar switched from December 31st to January 1st. You're still the exact same person that you were the day before, with all the same tendencies and all the same temptations and the same bad habits that you try to avoid. You're the same person. The only way this year is going to be your year is if you treat every single day the way you treat January 1st. If you treat every single day like a brand new opportunity to improve upon the person that you've been with the same intensity and the same intention and the same focus that you bring to January 1st, there's no doubt that this year will be your year. And every subsequent year after that will be your year. Because who you are and the way you execute is not dictated by a calendar. It is dictated by your decision to act.
It's a blank slate, a brand new year. Everything that happened last year, every win, every loss, Every lesson brought you here. And that's exactly where you're supposed to be. 2025 isn't about waiting for the right moment. It's about creating it. You don't need permission or a perfect plan. You just need to decide right now. Decide to bet on yourself. The best year of your life doesn't just happen. It's built day by day and choice by choice. This is your year, not because it's guaranteed, but because you decided it will be. So make it the best one yet. You got this.
Every ambitious person who wants to do something in their life or has done something in their life has gone through the exact same chapter you're going through right now. And it's the lonely chapter. It's the chapter where you don't fit in with your old friends, but you don't have the achievements to fit in with a new group of friends. And you're doing everything you can. The free tutorials online, you're reading everything you get your hands on, you're going through it and you're thinking to yourself like, is this gonna be worth it? Is this actually going to work? Because you're seeing no signs of success. But the signs of success are the hate that you get along the way. And what you can't do is bend your knee to their hate and try and go back and conform because it's comfortable and it's warm. Because you know deep down you can do more than this. And you begin to see the person that you could be, and you realize how far you need to go. But despite how far away it seems, you look back down that dead-end road and know that's not where you want to be. And so you keep going.
Fail big. Today's the beginning of the rest of your life, so do what you feel passionate about. Take chances. Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test, was 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. So have dreams, but have goals. And understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. You have to work at it every day. You have to plan every day. Hard work works.
There's a present at being present. When you are present in the moment, when you can live in the moment, you become a present to those who are around you. You are a gift to them. You are giving them something, your time, your energy, your presence. But you have to understand that some people will only see you as what you were because all they have is your resume. But your resume can only tell them about what you used to do, not about today. But today is different. Today's the day you begin to represent something more than what you were. Today is the day you get to represent yourself to the world and saying, this is who I've become, and I refuse to be reminded of what I once was because I've outgrown that. I'm not looking at my life through the rear view mirror. I'm looking at what I can do, and I'll drag everything from the rear to the front so people can see that you can overcome something and become something. That is the power of being present. You get to represent yourself and represent yourself as what you are today, a present gift in the face of those who get to stand in your face.
How many times in life have you ever driven by an orchard or driven by a massive farm and you see these crops, these fruits, these vegetables just growing? Do you ever think what it started with? It started with one seed. It's one seed, just like the ideas you have in your head to grow your business, to grow you personally, and to create a strong relationship. It's that one idea that is watered and nurtured that make all the difference in the world. And from that one little tiny seed, you can have massive farms, massive trees, to produce so much wealth and growth in all areas of your life. So from one little seed, one idea that you created, that you have in your mind, and then when it's planted and cultivated and watered and nurtured, what do you think you're capable of doing? Because your capability is not limited. Your capability is as much as you want it to be when it comes to your imagination. The only thing that limits capability is listening to other people's limitations of what they can do, not what you can achieve. What you can achieve is way more than you think. The question is, you know you can, or you're willing. Because if you're willing, from one idea, one seed, you can create the most incredible farms, the most incredible lifestyle that you know you deserve.
We know that when it comes to life, we want to be growing. We want to seek opportunities for growth. We want to be doing things that make us more competitive, better to be in situations in the future than we are today. We know we need that growth. One of the most effective ways that we can continue to ensure that we grow through our life is to seek out change. When the fact of the matter is, the only difference between whether we embrace change or fight change is the perspective that we see it with. And all we have to do to see change as a positive and an opportunity for growth in all aspects of our life is to make a choice that change is good. That change doesn't happen to us, change happens through us. And by embracing that concept, by seeing it as something that's positive, I can use that to continue to grow individually. Because those only two options that exist, right? Growing or dying. And if change makes me grow, then I want to start seeing change as an opportunity. I want to start not just embracing it happening, but I want to seek it out.
Clarity means you see more clear. When you see more clear, interrelations become more apparent. When you see more clear, there is no need to believe anyone or believe anything. Seeing clear means you can distinguish for yourself which is the proper direction to take and which decisions do I have to make in order to make my goals or aspirations start to shape. I can't and I won't tell you which way to go. It's just that along your personal journey, you will encounter challenges. Those challenges will either prevent you or some of them even stop you from moving on and climbing that mountain.
Every moment of your life is building the story of your life. Some chapters will break you wide open, and others will remind you of just how strong you are. But the reality is, they're all necessary. Your job isn't to avoid the hard parts. It's to show up for them, own them, and use them to write the story that only you can tell. Because your life isn't a rough draft. It's a masterpiece in the making.
Let the fear of regret fuel you to take action today, now. To take action now to become a better person, not filled with regret, but filled with knowledge. Filled with knowledge and strength and power and filled with life.
If you do the thing, in spite of being fearful of doing the thing, that is courage. And if you don't do the thing, even though you felt like doing the thing, that is cowardice.
When you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person that walked into it. That's what the storm is all about. When you can't control what's happening to you, control how you respond to it. That's where your power is.
You're going to work hard
and nothing's gonna happen. You're going to give it your all, and nothing's gonna happen. You're going to pour your heart out into it, and nothing is going to happen. And the hardest part is that it might go on for weeks, months, years even. And you might sit there wondering, when is this gonna pay off? How much more do I have to bear? How much longer do I have to walk? You look at the world and say, you said 1 more lap 3 laps ago. You said 2 more reps 5 reps ago. But you must endure. You say, I can't make it to that next corner. I gotta walk 1 more street light. My legs might give out if I give this 1 more step. But you must endure.
Consistency is not the problem, it's the discipline. Making the choice to do the thing that is going to serve you in the long term rather than what's going to serve you right now. Delayed gratification. Everybody's consistent. Most people are just consistent in the wrong things.
But I'll tell you a secret. If your dreams go too long without becoming a reality, they slowly morph into nightmares of what could have been. And we all know people, this is true, who they firmly believe that their best days are behind them and that their future is dimmer than their past. And that's a terrible way to live. But what I'll tell you is the only way to turn your dreams into reality is to combine it with action. So it's not just about thinking big. That's great, that's a first step. But then you have to act big. If you want to live the life of your dreams, you have to act big.
In the midst of the storm, a lot of people feel like, man, I lost this. I lost that. But when you come out of the storm, the perspective that you gain, the person that you have become, right? The happiness that you gain, the joy, the peace that you gain, right? You always gain something in spite of what you consider to be a loss.
You have to take that time. You have to earn that shot, earn that opportunity. And when you earn it, you'll make the most of it. Because you put in the work, you wrote down the goals, you made it a part of your discipline, and now it's a part of your fiber. You're cut from a different cloth. Don't allow yourself to be draped around something that can't appreciate you. You're expensive. It costs a hell of a lot to make you. Don't sell yourself cheap.
You're having a hard time. Well, guess what? Everybody has hard times. You, me, and everybody else. We all deal with shit that we'd rather not be dealing with. And there's 2 kinds of people that have hard times. There's the kind of people who go through hard times, and then eventually they find their way to prosperity. And there's people who have hard times and just stay there and spin their wheels in the hard time for the rest of their lives. And it's one simple thing that decides which one of those people you're going to be. And it's this. The people who go on to prosper stop when they're having the hard time and they ask themselves a very simple question. What is this situation supposed to teach me? And then when they find the answer to that, they apply that lesson moving forward. And the people who wallow, and the people who become victims, and the people who suffer their entire lives don't do that. So do it. See, the only time that we realize how far we can go is when we push beyond that limit that we stopped at before. You are capable of so much more than you realize, but you stop short because your mind tells you to stop, but your body can go on for more and more. You are capable, and when your body gives out, your mind wants to go on for longer. You are the one in control. You are the one who has the power to say, I want to stop here or I want to keep going.
Put down your why. It's what will motivate you when you don't feel like it. Days in the gym will come and go and you'll feel like, I've done enough, I'm too sore. I'm still not over an injury. There will be days where you feel like not getting up and going because motivation isn't always there. But you have to absolutely talk to yourself and convince yourself that your why is big enough to give you the passion, to get over the pain, to get on with the plan. And then you got to get over your old excuses.
That happiness and success is available for every last one of you. But I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna change your mindset. If you're planning on being successful, you have to change this here. The difference between successful people and non-successful people is right here. It ain't no difference. It ain't none. I ain't got no more than none of y'all got. God gave me the same thing he gave y'all. But you have got to change your mindset.
If you want to become the best version of who you are supposed to be, risk is required. Period.
Whatever success means to you, properly define it, but always look at it in terms of, do I love what I do? Do I know what I'm doing? If opposition and adversity happens, will I still believe in what I'm doing? Can you be committed to the process of what you're doing without being emotionally attached to the results of what you're doing? Can you be committed to it in the midst of opposition, in the midst of adversity? Because if you can be committed to it in the midst of opposition, in the midst of adversity, now you can believe in it. So when it goes wrong and it doesn't play in your favor, you can still believe in what you're doing and you're not gonna run. Love what you're doing, know what you're doing, but above all, believe in what you're doing, man.
Practice makes improvement. You can always better your best. You can always go beyond anything that you have ever done. You'll never hit a state of perfection. You're always bigger than what you do. And so all you're looking for are new breakthroughs through practice and practice and practice. You'll get better and better and better.
You become a drifter in life. In other words, you are like a rudderless ship. You are not going under your own power. You are letting the currents of life, of circumstance, of the opposition determine how you feel, how you think, what you experience.
I think it's believing in the 85-year-old version of you, who's exactly who you want to be, and then ruthlessly looking at the discrepancy between the pittance of a human that you are now compared to that man or that woman, and then step by step breaking down the many differences and starting on the first one and pulling the thread.
The idea that self-love is holding yourself to a higher standard than anyone else does, you believing in you more than anybody else does.
No matter what tragedy we go through, we are still great. We are still magnificent. We are still significant. You must remember who you are and whose you are. Don't allow the tragedy that happened around you be the reason you quit believing that you could do great things. We are more than what happens to us. We are.
Move on. Straight up, move on. Forget them.
Lay hold of it. You lay hold of it. And when that thing tells you to quit, you look at it in his eye and say, I ain't going nowhere. I will break you before you break me. You will not defeat me. You will not destroy me. Some of you are so ignorant. You've been through so much hell. You gonna quit now? You should have quit 10 years ago. You should have been quit. You don't quit now. It's the 10th round. You got 2 more to go. And when you get to success, it's not about skill. When you get to a certain level of success, it's about stamina. It's about stamina. It's about you won't break me. You can't take me. I fought too long. I fought too hard.
As life unfolds, life comes at you with so much. There's going to be certain seasons in life to where you're in a season of just enduring. You just got to endure right now, right? Whatever you're going through, sometimes you're in that season of, man, it's time to endure. Those things are necessary so you can become a different version of yourself, and you can grow and learn from these experiences. So one day you can go back where somebody else is going through something and you can share them.
But in terms of you framing acceptance as saying that I am comfortable with who I am and I cannot be better and I must be satisfied with that, is the biggest embodiment of failure that I can imagine. There's a difference between saying I am good enough and I am good. So you could say I am good enough for my current state based on the work that I've put into it, but I could be better. You can accept that the work that you have done has created the outcome that you've created, but you do not need to accept that the outcome that you've created is the end-all be-all and the last outcome that you need to have. But deep down you know that something more is for you, and that's the risk. And as scary as it can be, as terrifying as the leap may seem, that risk, the edge of where you are and where you can go, is where life begins. That space is where you feel alive. That voice that's calling out from inside of you, it may not be the voice of encouragement. It may be the voice that says, stay where you are. We're comfortable here. And it will give you every reason and sell you every clause of why it makes more sense to stay. And the place where you can go, the version of you that awaits, it won't say a word.
Can you sustain the failure, the opposition, and the challenges? Because the one thing I can guarantee, you're gonna get hit with opposition and adversity, Doc. I don't care how cute you are, I don't care how strong you are, I don't care how nice you are, it's coming to see you. I don't care how grand your dreams and your goals are, it's coming to see you. I don't care how nice of a person you are, it's coming to see you. I don't care how motivated you are, it's coming to see you. That's why it says adversity causes some cats to break and other cats to break records.
There are those who will depend upon you. So make the promise that I will truly live. All I can tell you is this, that the promise to live is a promise to be great.
Michael Jordan tells me one day he wants to be the best player that's ever played here. And I said, well, you got to work harder than you did in high school. He said, I worked as hard as everybody else. I said, oh, excuse me. I thought you just told me you want to be the best player to ever play here. He said, I'm going to show you. Nobody will ever work as hard as I will.
Michael Jordan is not only the best basketball player, but he's the most exciting basketball player to ever play. We only dream about doing things that he can do.
So, open. Chicago with the lead.
Played professional basketball for the Chicago Bulls.
32 seconds to go. A 1-point lead for Georgetown. Gordy the Black. The time, 18.
Jordan. Michael Jordan.
If I had to trace my evolution, the Michael Jordan evolution, I always had to start back in college. Hitting the shot against Georgetown in 1982 when I really didn't know exactly what I was doing.
Carolina has won the 1982 NCAA championship.
It awakened a person inside of me to excel, to compete to excel, to be one of the best or be the best. That drove me. And I guess with that shot, it kind of ignited a fire inside of me that nothing was gonna stop.
My biggest motivation in life, is to compete, find different competitions and certain things in life and try to overcome that, be it positive or negative. But I have yet to meet someone who is as competitive as me.
I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed.
It was 97, we was in Minnesota, and Flip had switched and put me on Michael Jordan, one of the greatest, probably ever touched the ball. And I counted his dribbles. I was able to catch his dribbles, you know? I counted the dribbles. 1, 2, come across. When I blinked, he was gone. I turned around, he was dunking the ball, giving somebody dapping halfway down the court, that fast. That's when I knew Michael Jordan wasn't human.
When you step on the floor, it doesn't matter how many times you've done it before. All that matters is that you do it now. Be true to the game, because the game will be true to you. If you try to shortcut the game, then the game's gonna shortcut you. If you put forth the effort, good things will be bestowed upon you. You know, that's truly about the game. And in some ways, that's about life too.
For me, losing just is the worst feeling in life at anything, whether it's cars, golf, basketball, whatever it is.
I hate losing. I mean, it's not even a question. But I mean, I have to respect losing, because losing is a part of winning. Yeah. You never just, win. You got to lose to win. Losing is going to hurt. Absolutely. To a point where you would look at, how can I do things different? How can I change? How can I make this team better? And that's the thing about a team, and you know this too, is that before you can look at someone else, you got to look at yourself in the mirror, because that's how things get started. And you got to be willing to change. You are without question one of the most gifted players I've ever seen. What makes you different from other people? Once again, it falls back to my parents in terms of how I approach a situation. I never feel that I'm at my best. I feel I still have room to improve. I still set goals for myself to strive for. I'm never complacent with what I've achieved. Even though it's been very successful for me, I still feel I have a lot to prove, not just as a player, but as a person, as a father, to some extent, or as a role model in all aspects. So I'm never really too complacent with myself or with what I've achieved. When I get to a point where I feel I can improve as a player, I walk away from the game. I still feel that I have a plateau that I hadn't reached yet in terms of my skills or my expectations of myself. I'm always going to expect myself to do certain things or surpass certain things. As long as I believe that, then my road to success is going to continue to expand.
Like, I don't have to do this. I'm only doing it because it is who I am. That's how I played the game. That was my mentality. If you don't want to play that way, don't play that way. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I led you to believe it was easy when it wasn't. Maybe I made you think my highlights started at the free throw line and not in the gym. Maybe I made you think that every shot I took was a game winner. That my game was built on flash and not fire. Maybe it's my fault that you didn't see that failure gave me strength, that my pain was my motivation. Maybe I led you to believe that basketball was a God-given gift and not something I worked for every single day of my life. Maybe I destroyed the game. Or maybe you're just making excuses.
Why I'm the number one? Sometimes I ask that question to myself. Why me and not another one?
I think I'm good, but I think my main strength, it's my mind.
I think the rest is relevant. You have to be charismatic. People have to feel some connection with you.
Cristiano Ronaldo!
The life, it's all about the balance.
Do you think what makes you different to the others, to the next rung on the ladder, if you like, of very good players, is the dedication level that you put in?
I'm always say it's all package. First of all, it's the talent helps a lot of those. But of course, the ethic of work. You have to put in your mind ethic of work when you are professional.
With the age, you start to understand that The most important thing is you know 100% your body and training smart.
Well, Ronaldo's mentality, isn't it? I think that's what makes him the player he is.
I know how to be good, how to be fit, how to protect your body. It's not the quantity, it's the quality.
He was already arguably Portugal's most potent attacking weapon.
I dedicate myself and I'm working hard, and this is why the goals and all the achievements that I get coming from dedication and hard work.
He really wanted to leave everything on the field.
Because I think the main point is the mind. If you feel motivated, it helps a lot. So I still feel motivated.
And that's exactly what we saw.
Ronaldo, is that Ronaldo?
Oh, what a scream! We're going to play in Ronaldo. It is Ronaldo! It's 2-1 United! Was Ronaldo? Oh my goodness! Restored to this great gallery of the game, a walking work of art. Beat Zabaleta, Ronaldo! Vintage, beyond valuation, beyond forgery or imitation. The theatre lives its dream! Its fantasy hero retreads the board! 18 years since that trembling teenager of touch and tease.
Cristiano on his right. Cristiano! The drought is over!
First tiptoed onto this storied stage, now in his immaculate maturity, CR7.
The numbers, they don't lie. If you see in the last 15 years, my level is always kind of the same. Effort, dedication, work hard, because the talent is not enough. And
this is why I say, I like to live by example.
And if you're not dedicated 100%, you're not gonna reach the level that you want.
Are you addicted?
Yes, I'm addicted to success. Day by day, we're getting old. Every one of us. You understand? It's normal. You have to adapt.
We'll be here. The difference will be here. When I say success, it's I work for that.
And I think nobody in this game have this brain that adapts with his age.
Talent is not enough. You have to. I dedicate myself so much that this is part of me. Records is part of me.
60%, 70% of my life, it's the base of football. I dedicate myself not just to training, but to prepare myself. Sometimes you plan one thing for your life, and as I've told many times, the life is dynamic, and you never know what's gonna happen. I'm not the kind of guy to like to give advice. I prefer to be as example, because I'm an example.
I don't follow the records. The records follow me. It's part of my sacrifice, my obsession to win, to have success.
You currently have 145 record where you've been most, first, or only something that you're passionate for.
Nobody is perfect. I'm still in the process to learn.
But the most of the times, 90% of my successful, if you say to maintain my fitness, my body, it's sleep good, training well. I'm there every morning. I do the same stuff. I'm probably the first ones to arrive and the last ones to go out. I think the details speak for itself.
Out of this world, Cristiano Ronaldo!
You're a team player in the sense you love to win big team competitions, but you also love individual awards. They matter to you.
Oh my goodness, what a hit that is. Irrepressible, irresistible.
That's the thing that really drives.
Yes, I think so. I think it's good. It motivates me. If something not motivated, it's better, to stop. The records coming in a natural way, it's different. But when you are close, you say, why not?
It's all to this deep this or is this reveals and not still to see sorry, cause you're paying the price, man. Here is a really celebration on the beaches all over. So, is me when you're
comes from deep down within my soul. A true-bred born fighting man who never quits, never says die. And if I was ever gonna jack it, it wouldn't have been in a boxing ring, it'd have been when I was suffering with mental health. I was on the verge of suicide. That's when I had to quit. But I didn't quit on myself, and I didn't quit on the world. That's why I'm back here to tell a story. Maybe I was finished in my body, but my mindset was that strong and I believed that I was gonna win. If you believe it first with the mind, anything's achievable. And I believed it so much, and I never ever doubt myself in a fight, no matter who it is with who. I always believe I'm gonna win, somehow, some way. I'll find a way. For those people, all the oppressed, depressed, alcoholics, drug addicts, I fight for all those people. It's to give them hope every day so they can wake up in the morning and know there's somebody out there banging for us. He is our man. I just showed the world tonight, everyone suffering with mental health, that you can't come back and it can be done. Everybody out there who has the same problems that I've been suffering with, did that for you guys. And if I can come back from where I come from, then you can do it too.
Like, is he going here? Is he going there? Is he moving? Is he jabbing? He'll come at you like this with 2, 3 fake jabs. He'll move out of the way. He'll pop you with a jab as he's moving away. He's like a very technical, like really sophisticated boxer.
A great man, a great man once said, "For he who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing."
This fight is gonna be all over. Tyson Fury is proving himself here, the best heavyweight in the world.
Time and time again, I can never be wrote off. I can never be beat till I'm down and out. Greatness never becomes easy. You never get anything good easy. Anything that's good in life is always very hard to get, or everybody would have it. You're going to be willing to take risks. Because I've risked everything my whole career to get to this point.
What is successful? You know, the world has different things of what success is to what really success is, I think. Success is, to me, is waking up in a good mood, having a good day, surrounded by people who you want to be surrounded by. That sort of success. Success to me isn't measured on how much money you've got or what business ventures you're into. Success for me is being happy in your home and with your wife and your kids or your partner, or whoever you've got, being happy with those people. That's success to me.
Before I used to take everything and think, oh, I want this, I want that. I was never happy with what I got. It's human nature, we always want more. No matter what it is, no matter how much you got of something, then you're always searching for more things. Now it's like, I don't care if I lose everything. I don't care what happens. Nothing really is ours anyway in life. The only thing we truly own in this life is moments in time. And this is a moment in time for me that will never be erased. And no matter what happens, this is always going to be my time. This will be my moment in time because I lived here and I was a part of this. You know, everything else, this bag, this watch, these clothes, they'll all go. What does it really matter? Body will go, this is a shell. But what's inside, hope to God, lives on forever.
I just do more than I've ever done. I sacrifice more today than I did when I was absolutely starting off with nothing, from the bottom. And I don't know even how that's possible. I'm tight to today. Now I've made it than I ever was coming up. I'm more stricter, more dedicated, train more, smarter, train smarter. Before it was like, it's this dream job to be heavyweight champion of the world, all that comes with it. But when you get there to the top, you find out that the real only thing that matters is your training, is your boxing, is your fights, and all the other that comes along with it. The fame, the glory, the credit, the articles, the money, whatever you can buy with the money. It's all short-lived crap. Because at the end of the day, you're only as good as your last tenner. And that's all she wrote.
Life is precious, and it's beautiful just to wake up in the morning. Before I used to take it all for granted. I didn't care. I didn't care about nothing. I didn't care about family, friends, relatives, achievements. I didn't care about all. But now, after going to hell and back, I appreciate fresh air and a glass of water. You never know what you've really got until it's gone. But I've had the opportunity to be shot down and come back. I think life's too short for regrets. We live, we learn, we get on with our lives. I never regret like, oh, wish I didn't eat that, or wish I didn't say that. I think it's all unimportant stuff. What we did yesterday is history. It's not really important. It's about living for today. Not even for tomorrow. Living for today and being thankful for what we have now. Not for what we want, or what we might think we want. I used to worry about a lot of stuff in my life. Worry about what people think, worry about making people happy, worrying about X, Y, and Z. Now I don't. I worry about being happy now and being happy today and tomorrow. So that's how we're not promised tomorrow. So I live today because I know that I am not guaranteed to wake up in the morning. So I'm just going to be happy for now. And that's how I live. One day at a time. If I go to bed sad tonight, I think to myself, you know what? Tomorrow's going to be a brand new day. I'm going to wake up happy.
%50 of men and women cannot or will not look at themselves in the mirror because they are either disgusted or disappointed with where they are in life. And if you cannot look at yourself in the mirror, that is an act of self-rejection. That is an act of self-criticism. That is an act of self-hatred. That's not just a casual thing you're doing. The rest of us that can look at ourselves, what we do when we look at ourselves is we focus on the things we need to fix. For most women, putting on makeup is not additive, it's not a creative expression, it's covering something up that you don't like. And for so many men, if it's not about your appearance, it's about where you are in life, the mistakes that you've made. That action, that intention behind it, is self-rejection.
I know a lot of you out there, you've lost your voice. And I want to speak to you, to tell you that even if you decide from hearing from others that they told you that you cannot speak or what you say doesn't matter, you can still speak. I know you can speak because I was speaking all throughout my life inside of me.
A wise person once said, "What surprises me most about humankind is that we get bored of our childhood, rush to grow up, and long to be children again. That we lose our health to make money, and then lose our money to restore our health. That by thinking anxiously about the future, we forget the present."
Who are you? Are you the one who endures? Let's find out. And when you find out that you can endure longer than you thought before, amazing things happened. You realize how powerful you truly are.
Do I have weakness? I am nothing but weakness. I'm not naturally strong or fast or flexible. I'm certainly not the smartest person in the world. I get emotional over stupid things. I eat the wrong foods. I don't sleep enough. I procrastinate and I waste time. I care too much about meaningless things and not enough about important things. My ego is too big. My mind is too small. Often,
trapped inside itself. Now, all that being said, I have a saying. A person's strength is often their biggest weakness, but their weaknesses can become strengths.
Input determines output. Output determines outlook. Outlook determines outcome. Outcome determines destiny.
I want to talk to you if you're going through things in your life. I want to ask you, what are you telling yourself? What are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself, it's all happening to me, and it's because why is it happening to me? What did I do wrong? Are you talking to yourself about how it's all happening to you? I wanted to ask you this because it all happened to me as well. And throughout the whole journey, I asked one question to myself every time, every day, every minute. I ask, what am I supposed to learn from all of these things that are happening to me? What is the lesson? Why is this happening to me, and what should I learn from it? Are you doing that? Because I tell you, because that's how you get out of what's happening to you. When you ask, why is it happening to me, and what am I supposed to learn? Because when you learn from it, you can use it as your superpower to overcome anything that happens to you after that. So I'm asking you, are you asking yourself this?
Once you make that first cold call, you're likely to keep going. Once you start writing that first sentence on this chapter, you're gonna keep writing. Once you hit record on that video, you're gonna keep going. Once you fill out the first name, last name line on the application you need to fill out, you're gonna keep going. Once you pull up your resume template and you start writing, you're gonna keep going. Because the problem isn't your ability to do what you need to do. I say every day that it is never too late to wake up and be the person you want to be. And you deserve that. And here's the truth on how you do that. You have to act like you believe in yourself before you believe in yourself. I'm gonna say that again. You wanna learn how to stop doubting yourself? You wanna learn how to believe in yourself again? You wanna learn how to not be so afraid or full of doubt? Because again, you have to act like you believe in yourself before you do believe in yourself. So let me just make this super, super detailed for you. When you wake up tomorrow morning and you sit down in that chair, you are acting like you believe in yourself.
When you endure, you show others what's possible. When you continue on and push when you are tired and you feel like your tank is on empty, you inspire and leave a legacy. Leaving that legacy of what humans are capable of. See, it's not about you, it's about everyone that comes after you. It's about the person to your left and the right that needs an example. You are that example, and you become that example because you can endure. You can endure the pain, I promise you can. You can endure the hate, I promise you can. Because when you show that your character is still intact in those moments when you have every reason to abandon it, that right there, my friend, is greatness. You have that greatness within you. You have the greatness to endure. Now go get it.
You have to have a constant vision of what it is you want to achieve, see it accomplished, and go all out. Find a way to win. Dr. Norman Cousins, he wrote a book called The Biology of Hope. And he talked about the fact that when something happens to you, you don't deny it, you defy it. And I was defiant that I'm going to beat this, I'm going to handle this, that there are people who many times when something happens to them, that they embrace it from a place of fear and it takes them out. And L.C. Robinson said, things may happen to you and things may happen around you, but the most important things are the things that happen in you. And you have to stand up inside yourself and deal with it and handle it. Get out from under the labels. And the most difficult thing I've ever done was to believe that I can do it. When you don't know what's impacting you, and it's something that's holding you down and you're not aware of it. You live in a dominant culture that is designed to destroy your sense of self and your belief in yourself, and you have to learn ways in which you can begin to connect with this power that you have within yourself to handle where you are. The key is to be constantly in a perpetual process of discovering the truth of who you are and fighting constantly to look for ways in which you can escape the inner conversation, because how people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. So that's an ongoing process, constantly interrupting that conversation, what psychologists call your self-explanatory style, because life is going to beat up on you in so many ways, and many things, they come back, you know, negative thoughts and how you feel about yourself, they don't die. They come back once you stop doing the maintenance work on your mind, listening to motivational messages, going to seminars and workshops, spending time quietly listening to the still small voice within. Who am I really? Is this really me? Am I giving my best? Am I just reflecting what's around me? Because all of these various things affect how we show up in life. And so having a strategy to continuously find ourselves reaching higher. Robert Schuller had a book, is not very popular, but I loved it. It's called Peak to Peak, U-P-E-A-K to P-E-E-K, because you're constantly reaching higher to find out and discover your better self. Richard Wright said it best. He said, the impulse to dream has slowly been beaten out of me through the experiences of life. So when you live in a culture that is designed to destroy your sense of self, where you are marginalized, where you have a feeling of being hopeless and powerless, and you're terrorized, you unconsciously operate within the parameters of what has been put in place. Like you're driving on the expressway, the 405, and you'll get off on an exit that you weren't going in that direction, but you unconsciously did it because you've done it so many times that many people, because they're not making a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to think outside of what life has thrown at them, they end up doing the same thing over and over and over again. Einstein said that thinking that has brought me this far has created some problems that this thinking can't solve. And so through relationships, through reading, through studies, through goals and dreams beyond your comfort zone, it allows you to begin to live out of your imagination as opposed to out of your history. Disney said, the imagination is a preview of what's to come. I believe that all of us have a responsibility that we want to live a life that will outlive us. Oliver Wendell Holmes said that once a man or woman's mind has been expanded with an idea, concept, or experience, it can never be satisfied to going back to where it was. And so someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. If you want to become successful in life, number one, you got to change your mindset. He said, you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. Number two, practice OQP, only quality people. Develop your communication skills, because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. Those are three major things that you want to work on that will liberate you. It will help to escape out of where you are right now, because I see you watching me and I know you want more. I can see the hunger. You get hungry by finding something that's you. I believe that all of us are born unique, but most of us die copies. You got to find out what is it that turns you on, what resonates with you. The key to that hunger-driven life is a heart-centered life. I didn't do what I'm doing for years because of my programming, because of the culture in which I was raised in. I would see other people with degrees and PhDs and MBAs and credentials I don't have, and I convinced myself I couldn't do it. Not only someone's opinion of you does not have to determine your reality, he said that you have to work on yourself, and you have to have an unstoppable attitude, and no excuse is acceptable, and you've got to make it a priority, a non-negotiable in your life, and hold a constant vision of what it is you want to achieve, see it accomplished, and go all out. Find a way to win. In spite of the setbacks, in spite of the disappointments, in spite of your failures. I tell people, you will fail your way to success. I have a saying, is life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up.
Every passing minute is another chance to turn it all around.
We gave meanings to the experiences of our life, or other people gave meanings to the experiences that we were having. What you believe will dictate your thoughts on a moment-by-moment basis. And then that emotion then dictates what actions you do or do not take. And they're always aligned, right? Your beliefs dictate your thoughts, dictate your emotions, dictate your actions, which produce your results. And your results, when you look at them, then just reinforce the original belief. That which we tend to pay attention to is aligned with what we believe, and so that's all we get. So if you want, more happiness, if you want more wealth, if you want deeper relationships, if you want to have more joy, you want to have more fun, you want to achieve your full potential and really make an impact in the world, then what's really important is to get clear on what that could look like for you, and to make sure that what you believe is congruent with that outcome. Because if what you believe is not congruent with that outcome, just neurophysiologically, you're working against yourself. Clarity is intimately connected to imagination. So as we're getting clear on something, we're beginning to see what that thing is that we're getting more clarity on. If you're willing to invest time in getting clearer around something or imagining, you build neural networks that represent the memory of an experience that has not happened yet.
Step away from that fear and begin to see that there's wonder and beauty and opportunity all around. It begins to activate the part of your brain that's full of imagination and creativity and beauty. We are meaning machines. We not only give meaning to meaningless things, we make meaningful things meaningless.
But the moment your mind is under the law of generosity, growth, development, unfolding, giving, compassion, kindness, radiance, the moment that happens, you come under the right use of the law. The moment you realize you're here to give something, then all thoughts of not enoughness and lack, limitation, fear, doubt, worry, and separation begin to dissolve. In your premise every single day of your life is I am, and I've got it all. I am, I've got it all. Your destiny begins to unfold because you're not here to get from the world. You're not here to get, you are here to lift and walk in that awareness even before it manifests, even before you can see it. All of life is for you.
But you gotta find a story that's gonna empower you to act. Complexity is the enemy of execution. The more complex you make it, the less likely you're going to execute. If you're creative enough, can you find the answer? Yes or no? If you're determined enough, can you find the breakthrough? Yes or no? If you're passionate, loving enough, can you get someone to help you? Yes or no? If there's no way that you're committed, can you find the money even if you don't have it? Yes or no? So I said creativity, decisiveness, passion, honesty, sincerity, love. These are the ultimate human resources. And when you engage these resources, you can get any other resource on road.
We're trying so hard in our lives to fit in. We try to fit into certain groups, certain frats, certain sororities, among certain friends. Yet the people we idolize are the ones that stand out. But when you're prepared, there is no fear. There is no fear of failure, okay? Because even if you walk out of something and you feel like you failed at it, your preparation is so strong that you're gonna take that failure and turn it into the outcome you desire. And most people stop at failure. We've all failed at things. It's the most powerful tool you can use, but it all depends on how you use it. It's that drive inside of you, okay? It's what we talk about, the dark side. The dark side is filled with failure, but it's the fuel that burns you like something that's never burned inside you before.
There's a single definition of success. Look at yourself in a mirror in the evening and wonder if you disappoint the person you were at 18, right before people get corrupted by life. Let him or her be the only judge. Not your reputation, not your wealth, not your standing in the community, not the decorations on your lapel.
We bullshit each other. We bullshit ourselves. It's the hardest thing to do is not to bullshit ourselves. If we don't bullshit ourselves on some level, it's too painful to be alive. And that's what your art is. Your art is telling the truth in ways that you can't in life.
As long as I enjoy what I'm doing, I train hard, I have no regrets, and all I can do is give my best, then it's going to be fine, regardless of the outcome. It's important for me to actually hear criticism sometimes, because I think that's what makes me a better player.
This thing, you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for anybody else.
I think a lot of people they see you run and they say, oh, you look so easy, you really look effortless. But before it gets to that point, it's hard. It's like hard work. Day in, day out, sacrifice, day in, day out.
You have a limited time to stay on Earth.
It really gets into behaving in a rational manner. It's not getting in your own way. As I say, everybody here has the ability absolutely to do anything I do and much beyond. And some of you will and some of you won't. But it will, the ones that won't, it will be because you get in your own way. It won't because the world doesn't allow you to. It will be because you don't allow yourself to.
The indomitable will, if you have a belief you can do something, the only way you grow that, like in the gym, you grow your muscles by actually exercising. You grow the love of you and your wife by caring for them and having their back. To grow the individual will to become something, you must get comfortable with fear and failure. They must be your best friends. They're the only one that moves that needle of light.
Really liking what you do, whatever area that you get into, given that even if you're
the best. There's always a chance of failure. So I think it's important that you really like whatever you're doing. If you don't like it, life is too short. If you like what you're doing, you think about it even when you're not working. I mean, it's something that your mind is drawn to. And if you don't like it, you just really can't make it work, I think.
Are you the best footballer in the world right now?
I think so, yes. In my mind, I'm always the best. I don't care what the people are thinking, what they say. In my mind, not just this year, but always, I'm always the best. I'm always going to say that.
I knew what was going to happen. I knew I was going to get here. They didn't. There's a lot of stressful years, you know what I mean, a lot of tough times. But I proved them wrong. I proved myself right.
You need to bet on your strengths and don't give a fuck about what you suck at.
If you want this, if you want bling bling, if you want to buy the jets, if you want to do work.
When I look around, I always learn something, and that is to be always yourself and to express yourself, to have faith in yourself. Do not go out and look for a successful personality and duplicate him.
I feel I still have room to improve. I still set goals for myself to strive for. I'm never complacent with what I've achieved. Even though it's been very successful for me, I still feel I have a lot to prove.
Michael shakes the finger.
Ben Graham in his low teens looked around and he looked at the people he admired and he said, you know, I want to be admired, so why don't I just behave like them? And he found there was nothing impossible about behaving like them.
If you're doing anything interesting in the world, you're going to have critics. If you absolutely can't tolerate critics, then don't do anything new or interesting. I would just say, go stand on a street corner and watch in a crowded urban area and watch all the people walk by and think about what they're thinking about. I bet you none of those people are thinking about you.